Greetings of the day, Chef. I'm Chef Arun, an associate professor with the ISSMS College of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pune. We'll be continuing with a series on technical terms. Today, we will learn technicals from the letters D and E. So let's begin. The objective of this session is to learn the technical terms related to the kitchen. Our first technical term is Danish. A laminated pastry like flaky or puff, but the additional ingredient that would be added to a Danish would be yeast. The variations that we see in Danish pastry is pinwheel, palmiers, croissant, etc. Deci, a unit of measure which means 1/10 of a meter. Deep fry. Two basic methods classified under method of medium of fat under the methods of cooking. Deep fry and shallow fry. Deep fry is understood as a product which is completely cooked by submerging in hot fat. Deglaze. When a poultry or joint of meat is roasted or baked, the juices ooze out during the cooking process and get collected in the cooking tray. After the meat is done, it is removed from the tray, which is then heated. Wine or stock is added, which collects all the juices and is reduced further to make a sauce, which is then served with the roast. Demiglaze. Let's understand the difference between the word glaze, which is Glace, and glaze, Glaze. Glaze is a sauce or a coating made or finished so as to have a smooth, glossy surface. Glaze means to cover a food with smooth, shiny coating, for example, a glazed potato tossed in butter. Coming back to the technical term, demi-glace is a sauce made with equal proportions of brown stock, that is Esteford, which could be a beef or a veal stock, and a brown sauce that we know as espagnole, which makes the first derivative of the mother sauce espagnole. Demitas, which translated to English means a half cup, used generally for serving coffee. Denature, a term associated with the application of heat to protein molecules, which changes the structure of meat, like is visible in the picture, the change of color from raw meat to cooked meat. Doria, a simple term which means a product garnished with cucumber. Drawn, with entrails removed. To mean, which means to clean or remove any inedible portion present in fish. Dressed, applied for poultry and fish. In case of poultry, it means to slaughter, bleed, and clean all feathers and make it ready for cooking. Similarly, cleaning of fish, including the removal of viscera, scales, head, tail, and fins, which is removed and making it ready for cooking. The next one is a drop batter. A batter and dough is a common term that we generally use, but needs to be distinguished, or rather, is distinguished by the consistency of the amount of water present in it. Batters are generally thinner, but in case when it is thick or not of pouring consistency, it can be dropped by a scoop or spoon. It is known as a drop batter. For example, the chocolate chip cookies will have a drop batter. Dry cure. Two types of curing methods used as a preservation technique or as a basic step required before you smoke a product, that is, a dry and a wet cure. In wet cure, one would use brine, and in dry cure, salt is used in the curing process. Douches, a potato preparation made with mixing mashed potatoes, butter, and egg yolk. The mixture is then piped into rosettes and baked. Goes as an accompaniment with various main courses. Dumpling, an Asian starter, savory, made with a veg or a meat filling, stuffed into a soft starchy dough or batter, which is generally steamed but can be fried or baked as well. Dry heat, application of dry heat as a cooking medium, especially in the case of an oven, a method in which heat is conducted to foods without the use of moisture. Davari, a product made or garnished with cauliflower. Duck cells, a coarse paste which is made with mushrooms which is finely chopped with shallots and cooked in butter. Amongst its other uses, it is traditionally used in the preparation of a beef Wellington. Espagnole, one of the known mother sauces made with a brown roux and a brown stock, cooked further to make it smoother. Elastin, two types of tissues that we are familiar to is collagen and elastin, which is present in meat. Collagen dissolves while cooking, but elastin does not. So it is suggested to remove if possible, or pound it, or use tenderizers so that it cooks very easily. Emincer is a term associated with cutting of thin slices. Empty calorie, a term associated with food which supplies few nutrients per calorie. Emulsified, the term is associated The term is associated with mixing of two ingredients which would not mix easily, for example, oil and water. In this case, it refers to grinding of meat and fat to a puree, usually with the addition of water or another liquid. Emulsion can be explained as a mixture of two unmixable or immiscible liquids. A classic example would be mayonnaise, which is an emulsion made of egg, which is water, and oil, as in fat, combined together. Entremetier, the chef responsible for preparation of vegetables and starches, served as an accompaniment with the main course. Also, an additional responsibility of soup and egg preparations can be given to an entremetier. Epazote, a pungent herb from Mexico, having a medicinal and a culinary use which aids in digestion. The EP weight, the process of finding out the edible part of a product or ingredient used for cooking. For example, finding out the edible part of a fish or poultry after deboning also can be referred to as yield testing. Escoffier, the great chef of the 20th century, known as the father of modern cookery, who was responsible for several reforms in the kitchen, as the kitchen layout, kitchen brigade, and introduction of the nouvelle cuisine. Essential fatty acids. As a nutritional requirement of the human body, fatty acids play an important role. As it cannot be made by the body, it needs to be supplemented by the use of various vegetable and meat products, For example, egg, avocado, fish, and many other things. Espresso or espresso, strong dark coffee made from beans roasted until almost black, ground very fine and brewed under steam pressure. Etuve, to cook or steam an item in its own juices. Another term is to sweat. For example, sweating of apples done in making of an apple pie. Expediteur, a responsible chef of the kitchen brigade who mediates between the kitchen and the service staff, who accepts and transmits orders from waiters, calls for orders to be finished, inspects finished dishes, and passes them to the dining room staff. Thank you, chefs, for your patient listening. I've referred to the Professional Cookery 6th edition by Wayne Gilson. For the culinary terms, I've picked up images from Google, Shutterstock, Dreamtime.com, Urban Epicurus, Encyclopedia Britannica. I thank them as well. Also attempt the quiz mentioned in the description. For any queries and doubts, mail on arunshekar@gmail.com.